All right, ladies and gentlemen, pull the shades, turn off the lights. It's going to get pretty dark in here.
Set the mood, Kevin. Jeez.
James and I goofed. As you all well know, we went overtime on a Hitchhiker segment. Ergo, we had to review a movie that neither of us wanted to see. We gave it a double never need to see.
Yeah.
Y'all voted, and now we have to talk about 50 Shades Darker. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your votes.
This is a trailer in the rear view, which is also known as
TIT RV,
which is very, very useful acronym pronunciation for this movie because there's a lot of tits in it.
There's a lot of boobs.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, I know I sound like I'm being not genuine when I say thank you for your votes. You might detect some frustration. However, I am genuine. Thank you.
We'll get there, Kevin.
But we're not doing this alone, Jenny.
No, that's right. We have a special guest co-host.
Me.
Jenny, say hello to the audience.
Hi, audience.
Jenny's my roommate.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Grab a seat, pour yourselves some whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these feature releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
I'm your roommate?
You are the person that I share an apartment with. Cheers. I call that a roommate. But also, Jenny is my lady friend, my significant other.
Wait, you two are dating?
Go figure, Kevin. I know. I kept
roommate,
it on.
girlfriend, whatever.
I kept her in the back room every time we've recorded.
Yeah.
Can I borrow one of your coffee mugs so that way I can shatter it right now? Jesus!
Just do a spit take with your whiskey.
Well, hi, Jenny.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi, yes. We consistently try and get you to join us on the podcast. You are always like, guys, I gotta go to fucking bed. And then you hop over to your room.
I am a grandma. I do like to go to bed quite early, and you guys record 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That's way past my bedtime. I really...
When is your bedtime?
Oh, God. It varies. Sometimes I fall asleep at 7.
Really?
Yeah. I wake up at like 6, so I wake up early.
Well, let's not put the audience to sleep with this lovely conversation of
Whoa.
bedtimes.
Well, you can sleep on the couch tonight.
Whoa.
See, these are the kinds of jokes I was hoping to avoid today.
Well, you won't invite me back.
So I'm gonna do what I always do when I'm in the middle of an awkward relationship fight and change the subject. Jenny, what about 50 Shades Darker made you want to join in us?
That's a good question.
Oh, man. I just
Because you didn't have to.
Yeah, no one forced you to.
Kevin and I we said we're gonna watch 50 Shades Darker, and you
We
said
made it clear it wouldn't be a good time.
You said wait for me.
I said wait
I
for
said,
me.
fine.
I said wait for me, not because I was jumping at the bit to watch this movie, but because I really wanted to enjoy the commentary coming from YouTube,
Well,
which I did.
That's one theory.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we have you jump on the show, Jenny, we do have to make sure that you are a good fit.
That's true. We can't just let any old person in here.
Yeah.
Old. We call it old.
Okay, all right,
You're older
we're
than
changing
me.
the subject. I'm changing the subject. Look at
We
me.
can't just let any of my significant others on the show.
Oh, more than one. That's good to know.
I cleared that up. Kevin.
I
That's
thought,
fine, whatever.
I thought I was his only boo. That's just what I'm getting at. But okay,
It's
nope,
pronounced
fine.
Bay now, Kevin.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God,
Kevin,
the
you
times
are
are changing.
You are his boo every Thursday night while I'm locked back in the bedroom. Or the red room. Segway.
Oh, she did it.
Damn it, she's a
That
natural.
was a 50 Shades reference.
But before we even get into that, and granted, we probably should have done this off air to determine if you'd be a good fit for the show. But you know what? We have to do it.
In classic us fashion, we're just going to do it on the air for everyone to listen.
Are you interviewing me?
Yeah, this
Yes.
is the Trailer Park application. The
Yes.
Oh, no.
Trailer Hitch Park application.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just stumble into a trailer park and be like, "This is my home now."
I mean,
Like,
you
got-
can, but, you know,
maybe.
I mean,
you might get arrested.
But it is my home. You guys record at my home.
well,
Look, let's not get into semantics. We have an application here for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Question 1. What is your favorite trailer that's come out recently, if you have one?
I really dug the Thor trailer. It was
Thor
so much
Ragnarok.
fun.
we
all
both
right.
gave that a need to see.
Damn right we did.
Totally need to see
That
it.
was-
Thor. The first Thor movie is one of my favorites. So of the Marvel universe.
All right.
Sure.
Good
Okay,
answer.
that's a good-
Let me write that down.
Okay.
I'm not
cool.
writing anything down.
All right. Second question. Given that we're recording in your apartment, would you kick us out if we denied your application?
Oh, yeah. Go record in the hallway with all the sound. You guys will pick up.
I feel like that just won her a lot of points.
Well, that's it. That's all the questions we have for you.
So,
No, I'm kidding.
am I
I'm kidding.
hired?
No, we have more questions.
We have more questions.
Yeah, chill. We have a whole bit, Jenny. Jesus, we wrote it and everything. Have you ever hitchhiked before?
No.
Caveat to that, 3A. Have you ever picked up a hitchhiker before?
It depends. If they're carrying a large, duffel bag, yes.
No, have you in the past?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you said
Wait, what's
would.
going on with this duffel
She's
bag?
saying would. She went with would she. We might need to amend this.
Oh, yeah.
As in-
I'm just saying, if they have a large duffel bag, that tends to be a pretty entertaining moment. Most movies. You never know what's in them.
All right,
That's fair
enough.
Okay,
fair enough.
okay, that's okay. Number 4. Have you ever taken umbrage with anything James has said on this podcast?
What does the word umbrage mean?
4A, do you know what the word umbrage means?
No!
Because we don't either. We've been saying it a lot on this podcast, and we're really hoping someone
the
can
Harry
listen.
Potter character Umbridge?
No.
Is that a correct person?
Umbrage means
That is a character.
Have
in Harry
you
Potter.
ever disagreed with anything James has said on the
or
podcast?
taken up issue with anything I've said on the podcast?
Oh yeah, there's some trailers I've seen that I would totally want to see, and James is never need to see. Same with you, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that's funny that you say that, Jenny. Have you ever taken umbrage with anything Kevin has said on this podcast?
Of course.
So know what umbrage means, see 4A.
Of course.
Okay, no specifics. She's keeping it vague
That's
for
okay,
us.
that's
I
fine.
can go into specifics. I personally like a lot of different type of movies that maybe you guys wouldn't. Like the traditional, really crappy rom-coms. Like Safe Haven. James hated it.
Look, have we talked about Safe Haven on this?
Have we?
I don't remember.
Well, Safe Haven is usually something you talk with me about because I didn't mind it. I actually liked it, but James loathed it.
Mm-hmm.
He hated it, and he reminds me every chance he can. So
Sure.
I'm opening the floor.
I'm going to change the subject.
And Kevin with the changing
Totally
of the subject
fine.
again.
Getting off topic.
Here we go. Have you ever felt missold by a trailer? If so, which one and why?
Oh man, based on your podcast?
No, any
Your
trailer.
review?
Like,
Have
have you
you-
ever felt like
Have you ever
want-
seen a trailer and been like, wow, this looks really cool, and then you watch the movie and you're like, this is bullshit?
Basically, the whole point of trailer and the Rearview episodes are for us to determine that.
Yeah.
Is if this
Oh.
trailer sold this movie correctly.
I guess off the top of my head, I would say the Independence Day, Resurrection?
Resurgence.
The
yeah.
trailer looked really great. I was really excited for it. Saw the movie and did not like
Solid answer. That movie was
Yeah.
garbage.
it. Yeah.
Oh, God, do you remember the school bus?
Yeah. Did you see the movie?
I saw the movie.
Oh man, I don't think
Hungover
I...
as hell, I
Yeah.
saw the movie.
Oh man, that's a terrible hungover movie.
I agree. I was there. Okay, question number 7. When you walked out of Captain America the Winter Soldier, did you immediately IMDb who played the character of Bucky?
Absolutely not. That's only you.
7A. Then why is it such a big deal that I didn't know who Sebastian Stan was, Jenny?
Because he's one of the best characters in the Captain America trilogy. You gotta.
Wait, she said no. She didn't have to Google it.
I didn't have to Google him.
So you just knew who he was?
Yeah, because
Where did you know him from?
Captain America, the
First
first Avenger.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one. Yeah, in retrospect.
So,
I probably should have amended this question
You know what?
knowing that.
I didn't think of it either until she said no, and you kept going with the question. I'm like, I think your question was for her to say yes. She had to Google. Anyway, moving on. Sebastian
moving
Stan,
on.
everyone.
it's pretty great. Shout out to Sebastian if you're listening. I love you.
I mean,
Awkwardly
sure.
changing the subject.
He's a handsome man.
He is.
Let's move on. What is your favorite movie and why? One movie, favorite. Go. You have to pick one.
I do. Oh God, that's
And
so hard.
I'm enunciating this because I know her pretty well, and she always struggles with just narrowing it down to one.
It's tough because I like to. It depends on the genre, but I guess if I had to pick my favorite movie of all time, one that I would always watch no matter what, Toy Soldiers.
Toy Soldiers? I love that movie. You mean the one with Tommy Lee Jones voicing the toy?
No, that is Small Soldiers. Toy Soldiers is a movie with Sean Astin and Will Wheaton. And it's about an all-boy prep school that gets hijacked by terrorists. And it's pretty great, and I love it, and I own it.
I did not know this was a thing
Yeah.
until we recorded
See,
the podcast.
I knew what Toy Soldiers was, but I was acting
I know
as the audience who would be like...
I think we could
"Small."
all tell there was a bit going.
Yeah. I was trying it to be obvious that it was a bit.
Sure.
But ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners, different movies completely.
Completely different movies, and I always have to preface, that same thing.
Yes.
Not small soldiers, toy soldiers.
Yes.
So
Good
number
answer.
9, this is a trivia break. What is the name of the human mom in 101 Dalmatians?
The human mom?
Yeah.
Like
isn't it-
Anita?
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Anita, darling.
It's Anita. You can call her dogs her children.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you meant the mom of the dogs, which is Perdita.
Do they not have kids in that movie?
No.
They
No.
do at the... Doesn't she
Uh-oh.
get pregnant at the end?
No, not of the cartoon. In
The
the
live
live
action
action,
one, right.
They move into Cruella DeVille's mansion, and then she looks at Jeff Daniels,
Yeah.
and she's like, I'm pregnant, or whatever.
Anita, darling.
Not only did she answer it correctly, she actually corrected the question because there was apparently no kid. Okay, how about we move on from that?
Good application. Did I pass?
I don't know.
We have
You're
one more question.
One
kind of
more.
giving us a lot of attitude with your
Oh my
answers.
God.
You're-
Well, it's
all
my
right,
apartment.
number 10. Actually, this should probably be the first question.
Yeah, we keep forgetting to
but,
move it up.
Do you like Trailer Hitch, the podcast,
Absolutely.
with Kevin James? Just kidding, with Kevin and James.
I love Kevin James. If you could get him on, that'd be
We
great.
haven't done that joke in a while. Wait, what?
Really?
Kevin James is great. He's
Okay.
Oh, that's going to factor in.
Yep. Write that down.
But yes, I love the Trailer Hitch, the podcast. I'm all caught up on all your podcasts, so I'm excited to be here.
Good answer.
That's a great answer.
Should
Okay.
we, should we deliberate?
Yep, we are going to go. We're going to deliberate.
All right,
Jenny,
we're gonna leave you right here.
if you can just hang tight for a few minutes, then we're going to just talk.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, bye. Well, they better fucking hire me on this podcast. My damn apartment. Well, this is awkward, so... 'cause I'm talking to literally a microphone.
Jesus.
Welcome back, boys.
Thank you very much.
Me and the audience had a nice little heart-to-heart.
Oh, great.
Yep, told them my deepest, darkest secrets.
You don't
Did
need
they
to-
tell
don't need to tell us.
their deepest, darkest secrets?
No,
Well,
no.
fucking ladies and gentlemen,
No one responded.
email in at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com to tell Jenny your deepest, darkest secrets, because she's going to be a guest!
Yeah!
Listen,
Yeah!
you had a lot of good answers, but the fact that we would not be able to record
Yep.
if we didn't have
Deal
you
breaker,
on,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of the linchpin.
So
to this
cheers.
song.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everyone.
Cheers to
Whiskey.
Whiskey and being on the show. Thank you very much
Yes.
for joining us.
Thank you for
Yeah, we
having
really
me.
enjoy it.
I'm excited to talk about 50 Shades Darker.
Oh god, yeah, let's get in on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here's a little bit of audio from the trailer. This is us clearly not excited for this movie. And here we are.
I want you back. I had no idea what this was going to become.
I don't see how this can work. You're just gonna stand there gawking?
Yes.
You got me looking so
I did. When I was watching this, I tried really hard to divorce the fact that it was a 50 Shades movie from me watching the trailer. You know what I mean? It's
I got what you're
okay,
saying.
if this isn't a part of the 50 Shades saga, would I want to see this?
Right.
And so I wanted to do that to try and give it a fair shot.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, I'm going to give this a never need to see it, just on the basis that, it doesn't seem like there's really that much there to hook me.
Yeah, never need to see it.
Here we go. Jenny's introing it. Here we go. Go,
Go.
Jenny.
I could think of 50 reasons that no one should ever see that movie.
That's better than what I would have
Give me
done.
another one. Give me another one. Go. Second option. Your number two.
My number two?
Your number two pun that you were gonna do.
Man, that was the darkest trailer I've seen in a while.
Okay,
So
great.
we're getting a lot of shades of Jenny's character right now, but let's get into this, all right?
Very good.
So this was 50 Shades Darker. It was directed by James Foley, based off of a novel by E.L. James.
Upon all Jameses in the world, I apologize.
Yeah, no, this is you were kind of meant to review this
guess,
in retrospect.
Heavy James.
Yeah,
cast,
it's a
or
James
production.
heavy
It's
production.
a James heavy production, yep. Speaking of the production, it is starring Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan, Eric Johnson, Eloise Mumford. Our random shout out because, hey, the big stars, they get all the attention, right? We got to bolster up
I'm with you, man.
the people who don't get what they deserve.
And
Like,
whoever
they're-
you pick randomly, we'll probably know who it is because we watched the movie.
Rob Compton played the yacht captain.
Oh, Rob
Yeah, there we
Compton.
go.
I love his
We
work.
remember
He
the...
fucking killed
He
it.
crushed it. There was a lot
The
of...
one shining beacon of hope in 50 Shades Darker.
I think if you guys remember correctly, there was a lot of fucking shots of that damn yacht.
I know.
There
Yeah, they
was.
really
It went on a long time, and that captain soaked in all the glory.
But
so-
listen, before we get into the movie itself, we have to talk at least a little bit about the trailer, how the trailer stacked up to the movie itself. And
Sure.
I think we can all agree, having just rewatched the trailer right now, the trailer's way better than the movie.
Oh, 100%.
I agree. I was gonna say the trailer actually wasn't that bad. It
Right.
really
it's
sells.
really not.
It really sells like a romantic,
Seedy, sexy.
movie with a little bit of a twist with the random ghost girl, whatever, standing in the room.
Is she a ghost? Is she not? Keep listening to find out.
Exactly, and it definitely, rewatching it after seeing the movie, I was like, man, if I wasn't, if I didn't see the movie, I probably would think I'd want to.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. 'Cause,
Agreed.
yeah, at the end of the day, like, you watch the trailer and it's like, wow, this really feels like it's about something.
Yes.
And even if it doesn't necessarily speak to me or like what I'm looking for from a movie generally, I could see how there is appeal to this.
Yes.
The issue, however,
Yeah. I mean, more specifically, even in our review of the trailer way back when, I think specifically my comparisons were to Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
It's like that's the type of vibe we're getting. It's like this steamy, sexy romance that has already had its issues in the past because, spoiler alert, it's a sequel and shit probably hit the fan in the first one.
You'd have to assume.
You'd have to assume, right? But then with the added ghost woman thrown in, and guys, it's not a ghost. We just don't know what else to call her because
They really don't spend that much time.
yeah, we'll get
into
there.
it.
We'll get there. But her presence in the trailer, they built up to it really well by just focusing on the relationship and stuff, and then easing her into it, and they brought it in with a good part of the song, the Crazy in Love song.
Yeah.
Like it fit in real well there, and then it started all these like very sinister, mysterious shots to follow it to make you feel like this
tension.
actually had a plot.
Yeah.
Wait. Are you implying it didn't have
I
that?
am pleading the fifth until we get to that point.
Yeah.
Kevin, what were your first impressions of the comparison?
Yeah, I mean, like, the comparison was apt. I agreed. And ultimately, I remember walking away from that trailer and being impressed with it. Now,
Yeah.
granted, sure, it's because that my expectations, in order to get that low, we would need a shovel. I was not expecting much. I saw the trailer and was like, yeah, I get it. I see the appeal to this. This is sort of interesting. This isn't really my bag,
No.
but... yeah, I can get why someone would want to go see it based off of this.
Totally.
Right. As someone who read the first book, I was totally down for the movies. I was like, yeah, let's do this.
Have you
Sounds
seen
great.
the first movie?
No, I did not see the first
Oh,
movie.
okay.
Because when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, like this looks pretty good. And then I just heard reviews and how awful it was. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, don't need to see it. Not that I'm saying reviews sway me too much, but it was.
No,
it is one of those movies that it can either be done fucking really well or really awful. Kind of like the Twilight movies. The first one was awful, and I personally thought they got better throughout. But
Sure.
the books were great, but again, the movies. So
How did you feel about the book?
I love the book. I read it and I was like, this is like porn for women and it's great. And there's a little bit of a love story, but not really. So it didn't focus on that, which was great because then I could essentially read a book about two people having sex every single elevator they find.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
I was wondering what that scene was doing in the movie.
The elevator is like their thing. That's when they first like kissed. I think that's when they first had sex. It was the staple of Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele.
Sure.
Sure.
Now,
sounds riveting.
Right. It sounds riveting.
It doesn't.
Word for women is kind of an interesting phrase, though. Like, what about it makes you feel like, oh, this speaks specifically to women? Because at the end of the day, guys like sex too.
They do.
Yeah. I'm curious to your thoughts on this.
Well, the book primarily focused on Anastasia's character, her job, her career, and then her meeting Christian, and then more so her feelings, her thought. Now, it wasn't in her point of view. I think it was third person, but it really focused on her, and it followed her throughout. So as a woman following this woman, I can relate to a lot of her feelings, and writing it in the woman's point of view or following the woman, it speaks to me a little bit more than maybe it would for you guys.
But why is your description porn for women?
Because
I've heard that before, but I wanted to get your opinion on why it's been described that way.
Because aside from all the sex, there is BDSM, which is, I'm sure guys like that too, but I feel like some women might have a little wild side in them, and that kind of brings it out when you read the book a little bit, where guys are just kind of I feel like guys are really into anything.
Should I leave you two alone?
Kevin, I see where you're going with this, and I'm going to ask you to leave it alone.
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like it speaks to the inner wild woman, as well as there's a tad bit of a relationship connection between her and Christian in the book, and it also speaks to the woman's side of having the loving, longing relationship and not just meaningless sex.
There's actual connection.
Now, I haven't, like I said, I didn't see the first movie. I don't know how their chemistry was in the first movie, but in the book, I felt it, and I was like, this is great, I love this, let's get to the sex part, and then I started reading the second book, and I put it down, because the book turned from this awesome BDSM small relationship to this meaningful, let's talk about our feelings, and then at that point, I was like, well, I can read this in any book, I see you later. So I lost my interest at that point.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, so we should probably wrap it back to the trailer quick.
Yes, please.
And did it sell the movie effectively? And
no.
The weird thing is it's like yes and no for me. I'm kind of conflicted because it's like, it does give you the gist of the movie. It just throws you in the direction of, oh, things will happen in this movie. As y'all are about to hear, things don't really happen in this movie.
Right.
It did a good job of covering up the clusterfuck that is the movie.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, which is what a trailer is supposed to do. And I think that's good on the trailer editor and the trailer house that did it. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah. I think I know you were kind of more in the middle on it. I think this trailer completely missed the mark on selling this movie. Like I said, there's the Fatal Attraction stuff, but like you were saying, the conflicts that it's like bringing up are
minuscule,
just absolute like afterthoughts of this entire film. None of them being related to one another. We'll get into that. Yeah. And surprisingly, the trailer touches on all three possible conflicts that this film could be about, that we'll talk about, but it spends probably 10 minutes of screen time on each of those separate conflicts.
Yeah, it's really weird. I feel like this is one of the first times where we've done a TID RV, and the trailer was objectively better than the movie.
Yeah, totally. I thought this was a complete failure to market or to sell you what the film is.
Because at the end of the day, it was good marketing because it made you think the movie wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it didn't prepare you for how terrible it was going to be.
If we're looking in the rear view, which we are doing, it's the wrong trailer for what this movie is. So, and that's what I'm looking at when I'm talking about looking at the trailer as an afterthought of watching the movie. It's like, what the fuck happened, dude?
See, here's the deal. Like, I was disagreeing with you, but then I realized, no, no, I'm not going to let 50 Shades Darker tear this relationship apart. So now we're going to just start talking about the movie because we've said like 50 times, oh, we'll get into it. So now we're going to get into it. Guys, this movie's fucking bad.
Let's talk about this movie in general. Yeah.
It's like a hill. You know, you got a little conflict and you resolve it. You got another little conflict and you resolve it.
It is. This is the speed. It's driving through a parking lot. That is what this movie is. It's you going over those speed bumps. You're totally right.
Exactly. And then on top of, or those little hills are on top of a long arcing plot that is just awful.
Yeah.
This movie is the equivalent of driving in a CVS parking lot. Yes, 100%.
Just speed bumps of conflicts.
Yes.
Yeah. At the end of the day, overall, it was just astronomically boring.
Yeah.
Like, that is the main thing that blew me away about this. I thought at the end of the day, we would at least be able to make fun of a lot of stuff in this movie.
Which we did.
But we did, but
there was definitely a point.
Like 15 minutes sometimes with just in silence, being bored with what was happening.
I feel like that's a bad sign of a movie, too, is when you're watching it, we all know what we're getting into right now. We know this is supposed to be schlocky. Let's have fun, because at the end of the day, that's what those movies are for. It's for you to get together with your friends and just drink and have fun.
Yes.
Which we did.
But, like, I definitely remember there was a point, maybe, like, an hour and a half in. One of my favorite quotes from the night is James checked the time. We saw we had 20 minutes left. And he was like, oh, good. That means we only have 10 minutes left because credits are 10 minutes. And then when I corrected him that credits are usually about 5 minutes long, he said, quote, just let me have this, man.
Just give this to me, man.
He was just, like, so fucking broken by the end of this thing.
It's just, like, in a lot of it being that boring has to do with, like we said, there being no central conflict of what this movie is about. We were halfway through this movie. I had to pause it, and I just had to be like, to both of you, what is this movie about? It's about nothing. Nothing is happening.
It's the least sexy episode of Seinfeld ever.
They introduced this ghost girl. They first introduced the girl
like really early. It's like 10 at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, on the side of the street, right? It's like an outside.
Yeah.
She was like on the bus, and they like rack focused to her, and we're like, soccer girl.
And like we knew from the trailer that this girl was going to keep popping up, and it was like another half hour before we even get to anything about that conflict again. Within all that half hour is just them bickering about we should be in a relationship, we shouldn't be in a relationship, back and forth for like a half hour. Then they bring back the ghost girl. And it's like, oh, finally, are we getting back into this? And then it's just like one scene, and then it's back to just like bickering of whether we should be in a relationship or not. You're too controlling. Oh, but I like having sex with you, so we're good, I guess.
And that's ultimately the thing is, like there are points where Dakota Johnson's character does bring up really legit points about
total
like
red flags.
About like really egregious red flags, and then Christian Grey is like, all right, well, I'm gonna do a pull up. And then Anastasia, or whatever her name is just kind of like, one more night, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And then cut to they're in a fucking relationship. But to me, watching this felt like the most unfeminist way to score dick ever. And do you agree with that?
I mean, listen. I think maybe this movie would have had maybe like the up and down with the relationship wouldn't have been as big of a deal if I think the casting was better. I can just see Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson on screen literally do not have any chemistry together.
No.
They don't. I feel like it's like, oh, we're shooting a sex scene today. Ugh. And it's just like they're getting through it. Yeah. And I believe I read an article that they didn't really even like each other on set anyway.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
And even if I didn't read that article, you can just feel it. And going back to what you said, yes, Kevin, like just watching that Christian have so much control over her, especially because there's one part in the movie where a ghost girl, or stalker girl, he literally looks at her like a dog, and she bends on her knees.
He says kneel.
He says, he says kneel, and she bends down, and she's totally submissive. And it's like, there's so many red flags. Why is this woman even with this guy?
Mm-hmm.
He just must be really great in the sack and have a huge dick. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, totally.
And he does lots of pull-ups.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too is like at that moment, just to speak to the character, she sees that and is like, "This is fucked," and then just walks out and leaves. And
which she should.
Yeah,
But then
and
she goes right on back.
yeah, it's like she's out walking in the city. And then I have to assume that they cut out the thought bubble of, like, just a giant schlong. And then she ends up going back.
I think you guys are
but
forgetting
he's-
the most important thing of how big his wallet is.
He is
Right.
also super
Yeah.
fucking rich. That is a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
thing.
But you'll come to find that she does not care.
Of
that
course
she
she
loves
doesn't.
her job.
Oh,
and
God.
she doesn't
Man,
want...
they kept hammering that home.
Oh, yeah.
We need to make it clear that this guy just happens to be super rich, super good looking, and super good in the sack. But I don't really care about any of that.
yeah.
Then what do you care
Well,
about?
Yeah, there really isn't much of a personality. And sorry, but just to
That's okay.
finish my point, she ends up going back to him, and his first reaction to her is like, "Where the fuck were you? Why did you leave? You should never ever do that." And he was such a prick.
Yeah.
And like, bear in mind, in that scene, Ghost Girl points a fucking gun at her. Has a gun, she fires off a round, so you know that there's real ammunition. And then this bullshit happens with kneeling. She leaves and then comes back. And he's like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And it's like, she has had a day, Christian. Like, she has gone through so much shit.
Settle
And,
down.
yeah, and that's the thing. And, like, I felt defensive for her at certain points. So,
Yeah, all in all, this movie was just... It was left, it was right, it was back, it was forward, and there was just nothing connecting anything to it. And it was
I
just...
agree, yeah.
And the only thing connecting was like, oh, we're in the middle of 2 plot points, sex scene. Oh, we're in the middle of 2 plot points, sex scene. And it was
I
great.
completely agree.
Don't get me wrong, like, sex scenes are great. It was fun to watch, but there was nothing getting me to that sex scene that made me go, yeah, let's keep this movie going. Like, this is great. It was just kind of like, oh, she was mad at him, but now they're having sex.
now
Okay.
they're fucking. It must have been 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh, he was controlling, and she's like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, she goes right back to him. And it's like, it worked in the book, but in the...
I'm going to go ahead and take your word for it.
I'm not gonna read that.
In the book, there was, like, this mysterious, like, connection. And I know I don't want to dive into the book too much, but there was just this, like, good connection where on screen it just didn't play, which I feel made the movie completely awful. If there was a really good connection and there was more of a story, I think it would have been fine. It would have been your normal rom-com, or not comedy, sorry. Your romance.
I mean, unintentionally.
Your romantic drama.
Those anal beads are just hilarious.
They weren't anal beads. They went in her vagina.
Which is what made it funny.
Exactly.
Did it, though?
I kept expecting, and Jenny, you had pointed this out, but like you're totally right. It's like she gets these balls put up her vagina, and then they go to a ball at like the guy's parents' house.
Yeah.
And was just expecting at one point to hear pitter patter, and like for it to mean something, but it just didn't.
No.
And what we're getting at with like no plot and stuff, because I don't know if we specified this well enough, is you see a helicopter in the trailer. At one point, Christian Grey's character gets into a helicopter accident, and he goes missing.
It's
And,
just
it's a
out of
huge deal.
nowhere.
Yeah.
It's very quick, though.
Right, because like her and his family are like just watching the news footage like, oh my god, how could this have happened? What's going to happen? And then he just walks in the fucking door 2 minutes later. And that's a great signifier for what this movie is. Oh, there's a stalker girl. Ladies and gentlemen, that is like 10 minutes of the 2 hours. And those 10 minutes are not concurrent. That's 10 minutes spread out over the course of the first hour
and a half.
15?
Yeah.
It ends with the kneeling part, and then it goes into the helicopter crash. And then all of a sudden there's conflict with this old woman, Kate Basinger's character. It was very brief as well.
Yeah.
So it's very, like I said, up and down, and as well as with their romance is very up and down over a very dumb... There's no plot. Not even a dumb plot. There's no plot.
No, you're right. Every conflict that it introduces, it wraps up just as quickly as they seem to come. It's like, oh man, this ghost girl came out of nowhere. Well, that's how it's going to wrap up too. Just as quickly. Oh man, this over controlling boss is just kind of all of a sudden is an asshole. Yeah, well, that wraps up pretty fucking quick, too. Oh my god, he got into a helicopter crash. Well, don't worry, everyone.
Clearly, this is going to be the thing they stick with, right?
Nah. Let's go with relationships.
And that's ultimately the thing. Is like, it felt like it was a slap-together porn movie. You know what I mean? It's like, we're just going to have, like, a few things happen, but at the end of the day, you're here for the sex.
Honestly,
but the sex scenes aren't even good.
I mean, they're fine. I mean, they were fine.
Well, like you said, there's no chemistry between them, so
No.
it's like
They text between each other. There's no chemistry between the text messages either.
No, they try this thing that Sherlock kind of started bringing into the mainstream of having a graphic pop up of the text bubble of what someone's reading when they're texting. First of all, it's a completely useless thing in this movie because they end up showing you a shot of the phone that you can clearly read anyway. And then secondly, as you said, and which was one of your jokes of the night, was even their fucking texts have no chemistry.
They don't.
No,
It's just a lot of like, when will you be back? I'll see you soon. It's like, that's the level.
I'm going to New York. The answer is no.
Yeah. Honestly, Dakota Johnson tried. I could see it. She was trying to be flirty and flirtatious, and I get it. And maybe it was the script and how things were so fast-paced. She was mad at him, and then she wasn't, and she had to be flirty, and then she had to be mad. I don't know. But Christian Grey is supposed to be, like, essentially a steel wall. Steel. He's supposed to be essentially a steel wall and not have much emotion. But he's supposed to be charming at the same time, and Jamie Dornan was just a steel wall. There's no charm.
His, like, smolder comes off as creepy, I think.
Borderline creepy,
and you know what? Maybe by reading the book, I envisioned my own movie, essentially, and then what I saw was
as you do
different.
With every book.
Exactly. So I'm sure what I had in mind when I read the book was much different and played much better than maybe what an actor could... Any actor. It might not even just be him. It could have been anyone that they cast in that role. It's a book that I don't think was meant to be turned into a movie. Really. It's these are books that are great on paper and it's great in the mind of the reader, but on screen it just doesn't play. And I don't think you could have changed anything to make it better or worse.
I mean, I really feel like what would have helped the movie is a little bit more wink and nudge to it. And from what I've heard, on top of those two actors not having any chemistry, is E.L. James had like a huge say in the script and was like, no, you can't change a word of what I've written. And
Isn't the screenwriter her husband or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that.
I don't care. But like the point is like she was like very much like, you can't change anything. And you're totally right, man. Because like, at the end of the day, what works in a book doesn't necessarily play on film.
Right.
And
that's why she was like, I have kinky fuckery gold here, and you gotta keep it in this damn movie.
P.S. Kinky fuckery is a line.
It's said twice.
It is. And to be fair, these movies were doomed from the start. They offered these roles to so many goddamn people multiple times, and everyone turned them down because no one wanted to associate their career.
Who was offered?
Oh God, like Emma Watson was offered the role.
Oh my
of
God,
Anastasia.
thank God she didn't do it.
So I'll have to pull up an article of all the people that were offered these roles, but everyone turned them down because it's a lot of nudity and people don't want to be
It's a ton,
and these very well-acclaimed actors do not want to be associated with essentially a porno. It's usually a career killer. So they got
usually
they got basically,
Paris Hilton made out okay with it
for a while.
She also came from a lot of money too.
Yeah,
so,
there's that.
So Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan, and in this film in general were just kind of doomed because they literally the movie got whoever they could. It was they were ready to pick up a homeless person on the street and it was like, do you want to have sex on screen, essentially. So and that didn't help my interest in the movie that no one wanted to be in it either.
Yeah. Again, okay, E.L. James really wants to keep her book completely there. Okay, fine. But then just throw some winks and nudges, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, sure, have the helicopter crash. Sure, it ends up getting resolved in 2 minutes, but instead of it just being like, oh, I'm here and I'm safe, and that's just sort of that, just have him, like, kick the door open. He's wearing, like, 40 wolf skins. And, you know, his family's like, thank God you're okay. He's like, all of you out of here. And then he just starts fucking his girlfriend right there on the couch. I would have been like, guys, actually, you should see this movie. This is a ton of fun. But,
actually, not girlfriend, because when he came back, fiance.
Oh, they were engaged.
Oh, they were engaged.
That's right.
At that
Well,
point.
she said yes. So, spoiler, they get engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was another one of my favorite jokes that we were joking around while we were watching it. He had this helicopter crash with this female pilot, and he comes back and everything's like great, but it's like he starts to make this speech. I want you guys to meet someone that's like really important to me.
He proposes to Anastasia, and we're all like, where's the pilot? and then you get like an insert shot of her just waving. And
Yeah,
like, oh, okay,
literally,
good.
yeah, it is
She's
literally.
alive. Okay, cool. No need to draw attention to it. But we threw her an insert
Well,
shot. No big deal.
Yeah, well, my initial joke was, oh no, they had a connection after this flight went down, and they're together now. Sorry, Anna. Me and the pilot went through some shit, and
in the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anna, we killed so many wolves. You have to understand. And I want to ask one last question before we eventually wrap.
Yeah, we should
this
wrap
up.
it up. Yep.
But I would like to actually, I'll get both of your opinions on this, because this is a movie that I would argue is predominantly marketed toward women. There is so much more female nudity than there is male nudity. And did anyone else think that was sort of weird?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was weird, but to be fair, I feel like R-rated movies can get away with a lot more female nudity than male nudity. I feel like if there was more male nudity, it would have been a different rating, which isn't fair. I agree. I think it's kind of stupid, but you know,
I was just really surprised we didn't get a full butt from the guy.
We got a man butt.
we got a couple man butts.
We got some man butt.
I only remember it's like
It
he
was
had
a
like
nice
sort of
man butt.
he sort of pulled his jeans down and like you get the top half.
No,
of his butt.
there was man butt.
Oh,
you
was
missed
there?
it. I'm sorry you missed it, man.
We can
had
rewatch
a
it.
glorious.
Oh, no.
We don't have to.
I just returned it at
Yeah.
Redbox today. Sorry, Kevin.
But there was no
no,
there was
Jenny.
no full frontal schlong action.
There
from
were
Christian
no
Grey.
no dicks.
No, yeah, Jason Segel can get up there and Forgetting Sarah Marshall and just like
rock his.
just like wag that thing back and forth. But
Mm-hmm.
Christian Grey, what do you got hiding, man? What's the deal? I don't know.
Maybe he actually really has a tiny penis.
Hey, let's not go there. We're not shaming. We're not body shaming.
No,
on
no,
this
There's
no.
no body.
Nope. Jenny, I knew we shouldn't have brought her on. Just body shaming
Absolutely
actors.
no body shaming. I'm just saying. Maybe they're like, oh man, we can't get anyone cast in this role, but okay, I guess we'll take this guy. We'll just have to CG. Better yet, we'll just not show it.
Listen, all I'm saying is stunt cocks are a thing, and
They are.
it could
Or
have
a
worked.
prosthetic cock.
Jonah Hill had it in The Wolf of Wall Street. He had the
Or-
prosthetic schlong.
Yeah, or Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights.
Very true.
Yep.
Very true, yes.
Okay, so at the end of the day,
No, I think we need to talk more about dicks. Let's talk about
I think-
that. How about Michael?
Well, I think
Fassbender? Let's throw
I got
that
the
out
transition. I got the transition for you. Here we go. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we all walked in knowing full goddamn well that this wasn't going to necessarily be a good movie or a good story. But
That's a fair statement.
But I think what the goal of this movie is to be sexy and to be arousing. So the last question for all of us here, on a scale of 1 to 50, how aroused were you watching this?
50 being like super aroused. I need to leave the room.
50 is like, you would have kicked me out.
Jenny, you first.
I would say I give it like a 10 or 15, between 10 and 15. I was slightly aroused at some of the
Sure.
sex scenes,
Sure.
but it wasn't enough for me to be like uncomfortable and shifting in my seat. So
One of those things where like where it's like you shift and then you're like, oh no, I shifted. Everyone noticed that. Everyone knows that I'm horny right now. Like, no, we've all had that internal play for
yeah,
sure.
no, exactly.
I'm just gonna bring this pillow over to my lap, and that's fine.
I luckily don't have to worry about that.
That's accurate.
That's very true.
Anyway, arousal level. Yeah, I guess I'd give it like a 20 out of 50.
That high?
Because of boobs.
Because
right?
there's boobs in it. Like, you got some boobs. You got some.
See, for me,
You got some O faces in there. Like,
Sure.
nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. They made sure you were bored out of your skull, like, right before these sex scenes were happening. So maybe there were times, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, Kevin, but there were a lot of times during those moments that you risked looking down to your phone. So that could have been your disconnection, and you were not sharing in our arousal.
I suppose not.
Yeah.
And I apologize for not being there for you in your time of arousal.
I thank you for not sharing
Okay.
in our arousal.
Cool.
That would have been weird.
Yeah.
And now I made it weird.
For me, it's a very limp 10. I guess we're going to let all of our skeletons out of the closet here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not really a big BDSM guy. And so, like, the concept of shoving 2 large metal balls up a vagina really does nothing for me.
No, it's just
So-
kind of weird.
Yeah.
But look, to each their own.
To each their own?
It's fine.
What?
I try it. Why not?
Okay, well,
Should I leave you two alone?
Christmas shopping done.
I was just trying to be funny.
You are. Continue, please.
No, I'm okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give our ratings now. Once again, our rating scale is as follows. The tippy top is should have seen it, should see it again.
Yep.
I have a feeling none of us are leaning that way.
Like this movie, none of us are going to see the tip on this one.
Okay,
My
so
joke was
should have
better.
seen it.
was.
Yours was pretty good. Should have seen it. Glad I saw it.
Should have waited.
Should have waited, or shouldn't have seen it.
Right.
So,
Where are we
Kevin,
at?
you go first.
You know, I would like to say that I trusted my instincts on this one, and I can see why I trust my instincts because I shouldn't have seen it. Like I'm definitely.
To be fair,
Again, it is just because it is so fucking boring, ladies and gentlemen.
To be fair, it's hard to think of the should have waited category for movies that we just like rented and watched.
Well, you could be like, I could have waited 3 to 4 years. Like that could have sat like in the middle of my Netflix queue, and then
Yep,
one day been
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, I guess this
Yeah.
is happening now.
No, hard shouldn't have seen it.
So me,
The only thing that's hard.
The only thing that's hard.
Yeah.
So me, it's kind of 2. I'm glad I saw it because it was hilarious watching it with you two, and it provided awesome entertainment. And doing this podcast is a lot of fun. So I'm glad I saw it for those reasons. But
That's adorbs.
but all in all, I should have never seen it.
Yeah, no, that's legit.
Does it make you want to read the second book?
I actually started the second book a while back, and I put it down because it was the same thing as the movie. It was quite boring. So the first book was great, but you know.
Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts, guys, on this one? There's Jenny sent me like an article that they're already in production for a third one or some shit like that.
The third one already has a teaser out. I sent you the teaser.
You didn't send me the
I
teaser.
sent you the teaser. I said, "Oh my god, they already have this." They didn't Darker just come out?
Pause the podcast.
Please stand by.
I'll be damned.
What do you fucking know? There's a teaser out for
I
the third one.
sent it to you.
I thought it was an article. I was working.
Classic
That worked.
James, just ignoring
All right, to be
things I said.
God damn it.
To be fair, it was just a little 20-second teaser.
Yeah, of like,
So it's like-
wedding and honeymoon
Yeah,
stuff.
so it's like it's not really eligible for us to review yet, but
This shit is
boy.
moving, guys.
It is
ready.
moving. It is.
Ready for Valentine's Day 2018. You already got a teaser.
Because I was going to say, like, final thoughts for this one. Man, I hope this did poorly enough where they don't make another one. But
nope.
Shit.
Get ready for Valentine's Day.
Too many middle-aged women that I think enjoy it, and a lot of tweens, I'm guessing. Oh
my God. All right, whatever.
Y'all have fun, unless we fuck up on Hitchhikers again.
Yeah.
We will not be seeing it.
Yeah,
No.
fuck that.
Please don't mess up on Hitchhikers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if you do, it'd be quite entertaining to watch.
No. All right.
My
Right,
vote,
cool.
my vote was Rings, went between the two.
Thank
so-
you.
Thank you. That would have been more entertaining, I think.
It would have been.
It definitely would have been more entertaining.
You would have.
This
Oh,
was
God,
like one,
you'd hope.
Well,
this was like one of the
I'm-
most boring films, like new films I've seen in the past like 10 years.
But I'm a horror fanatic, so
Yeah.
I would have loved Rings. But it's
Okay.
fine. This one was fun.
All right.
All right.
Fair enough.
let's wrap this
Jenny.
up.
Thank you for having me, guys. This
Well,
has been
thank
a
you so much.
blast.
Oh, thank you for being on. That was very appreciative.
Of course.
I hope you had fun.
I did. I'm ready to go back into my cage in my room and.
Yeah, we don't tell people about the cage, but she just blurted it out.
Our
You guys
own-
have a
I guess
cage?
It's out there now.
Our
I'm
own
going to
red
awkwardly
room.
transition. Yes, feel free to email us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com.
There is
you
no
can-
cage, I promise.
You can hit us up on Twitter. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can, I don't know, just scream into the void and maybe we'll hear you.
Yep.
Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Keep tuning in. We're going to have more episodes. We're going to have trailer and reviews for movies that we actually want to see. We will have
To cleanse the palate.
yes. So while we're cleansing our palates, just feel free to keep an eye out for more great content, or at least we try to do our best.
Yeah,
with it anyway.
more content.
More content. Yeah, it's the safer bet. All right, Jenny. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. I look
Thank you,
forward to
listeners.
your next one.
Thank you very much. I look forward to listening to this one.
Yeah.
Because you're in it. Aww.
Aww.
All right, let's get out of here.
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch.